Hello and welcome back to Las Vegas for our coverage of the 2016 GAMA Trade Show. I'm Eric Summerer here with Anton Torres from Asmodee, North America.
Asmodee, North America.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, one big topic that we should probably start right off with is the upcoming change in policy with Asmodee that you were just discussing with retailers upstairs.
Great. So the first thing I would like to point out is Asmodee North America is a trade-facing organization.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here, and I'm here wearing the Asmodee North America shirt because we are at the GAMA Trade Show. This is a trade show for retailers, for the distribution chain, and for publishers to gather and discuss, promote, plan out the year. At Gen Con, that is not going to be the case. I will not be wearing an Asmodee North America shirt.
Right.
Okay. So we just had a keynote, the Asmodee North America keynote, and we covered some details that have great relevance to retailers. Just wanted to preface that. I will not always be wearing this shirt. The keynote, so Asmodee North America is an organization that represents a collection of really incredible brands.
Yeah.
Fantasy Flight Games is one. We have the Asmodee Publishing, or Asmodee Editions. It's a collection of other studios like Bombix and Libellude and Louis Mem and Repos. We also have Catan Studio now.
Yeah.
Has been added to this family, and we have Days of Wonder in there. So there's a huge collection of products, all represented in the United States by Asmodee North America.
Yeah.
If you are a retailer that is purchasing product that is from any of those catalogs, we have new sales policies that will go into effect as of April 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And those policies require that you have an Asmodee North America authorized merchant number.
Okay.
What we have done is we have looked at the state of the industry, and we've been actually thinking about this for a couple of years, considering how is it that we can have a positive influence on the industry and try and stabilize things so that product is no longer devalued by deep discounters, for example.
Mm-hmm.
There's in some cases, we see a race to the bottom of the barrel with a lot of the online software bots. And after lots of considering and thinking about what we might be able to do, we have recognized, or we are choosing to recognize, three different channels. There are distributors, so leave them out of the mix for a second. And then you have the retailer, brick and mortar retailers, and you have online merchants. We are going to recognize these as two separate channels. They're both valuable. They both provide great services to the end user.
Yeah.
Right? But over the past couple of decades, we're in a position where we have different channels that are receiving the same pricing structure, even though they are providing different value to the end consumer. Right? They also have different investment. A brick and mortar retailer has a very different level of risk and different level of investment, and fulfills a different role in this industry than an online merchant.
Okay.
Although both are valuable. And so at the end of the day, we are just simply, we look at the discount as the way that we as a publisher can pay the participant in each case. So we're paying brick and mortar retailers by providing a certain discount. We're paying online merchants by providing a certain discount.
Mm-hmm.
We're just making that distinction now. We're asking that you have to choose one or the other. So brick and mortar retailers will now they apply for their ID number. We've had well over 1,000. I don't know the final number. We have well over 1,000 that already received their number. But now you are agreeing not to sell those products online. You are representing your channel as being the brick and mortar channel, whereas the online merchants would apply to be an online specialty merchant, and then the discount is going to differ for the two. So online merchants will get slightly less discount than the brick and mortar, because online merchants have lower overhead. The brick and mortar retailer have a lot more investment in staffing and the space in addition to the warehouse and keeping up to date with the product and then the gaming areas and being a player hub, whereas online merchants do not. Both are valuable.
So are there any other requirements that, say, a brick and mortar store would have to jump through, hoops to jump through, or is it pretty much saying, I am a in-person retailer and I will only sell this way, or I am an online retailer and I will only sell this way?
If you haven't applied yet, I want to preface by saying these go into effect, these policies go into effect as of April 1st. So if you have yet to apply and you're a brick and mortar retailer or an online merchant, but for this show, specifically a brick and mortar retailer, please visit asmodee.com and you'll see the link where you can apply online. It is fairly painless. This is just a very simple method of gathering your details so that we recognize you as a brick and mortar store. We now work with 5 distributors, right? We've sort of narrowed that scope down a bit. So after April 1st, if you do not have a merchant, brick and mortar, a specialty retailer ID number, if you haven't gone through the application process, you will not have a source from which to purchase these games. Right? So whether that is one of the 5 distributors, choose your favorite distributor or distributors, or whether you purchase directly through Asmodee North America, we have no preference, but you need to register for that account.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll take effect as of April 1st. And I forgot the question now. What was it that you asked?
Well, are there any more requirements? So, or is it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Right. You apply online, you review the agreement, and the agreement spells out in much more detailed terms, but essentially what I just stated. You are selling product. We are not instituting minimum advertised pricing. That has come up a few times. This is not a MAP effort to institute MAP. This is primarily that you are a brick and mortar retailer and that you are not selling online.
So for a retailer that does do that, they essentially get put into the online bucket.
Well, then they have to make a choice. They have to make a choice. And I was most recently at the New York Toy Fair a few weeks ago. It was the first time that I was out in public representing Asmodee North America. So it was the first time that we
saw the public in this.
Yeah, and they asked directly, say, hey, well, I don't understand. I sell some products online. And for many people, there was a retailer out east, and I believe they were in Pennsylvania, and they said, look, we're not in a urban area. Can I publicize that I have your product online? And we said, absolutely. Right? This is not you can use that as a vehicle to publicize that you have product or that you now have product in stock. What we are asking is that you don't fulfill the financial transaction and ship that product.
Okay.
So use the internet as a tool. It is a valuable tool. Use it to connect with your player base. But as brick and mortar, you need to make a choice. And for some, that is a very difficult choice. For most of the people I spoke with, they understand when they saw the long-term goal, which is to stabilize the industry so that people are not rushing, devaluing the products so that people look at for 45%, 48% discount to buy online. That should not be what triggers the purchase from a customer, right? They should want to, so Star Wars Rebellion is a Fantasy Flight game. It's $100, okay? That is a luxury item. We love it. We've invested a lot of time, energy, and effort into it. We think it's a fantastic experience. It's a $100 experience. I mean, in order to pay for the sculptors and the artists and the game design, right? The same is true for all other companies. We think that there's that there has been a really negative impact by third-party resellers, especially that are online and just sort of dumping product essentially, and causing the perception of the consumer to shift.
So because it's available so inexpensively, the perception of what the worth of that product is has changed.
Has changed, and we are concerned. We don't want to see it to change anymore. I was talking to Tom as we walked in. He challenged. He said, "Well, what if this doesn't work?" And I said, "Well, that's a great question, right? We are not claiming that we know that this is the be-all, end-all, best solution, best answer. What we are choosing to do is take a controversial stance after years of careful consideration, looking at this industry, looking at the value that we see that this industry has as an entertainment between people, looking at how it's exploded over the years, the past 5 years especially. The amount of product out there is incredible. There's a lot of great product out there. There's a lot of great games. But if now consumers, as they're getting introduced to this, if they if they're going to race to the lowest cost as being the reason why they want to play a game, that's going to lead us in the wrong direction. And then if people don't go out to the retail stores ever, they're just buying online, they're buying, they want to make their free shipping minimums, and they're just buying a dozen games at a time, and they all go sit in the closet. Well, maybe I'd rather they buy 2 games a year from us that they play and that they've considered and they have they believe are valuable to them, that they want to invest their hard-earned money, than have 10 or 12 that they're just going to shove in the closet. And maybe eventually they're just going to be like, it's just, why do I need those? I'm not playing the 10 I have already. It's this interesting perception. It's a change in perception.
How long are you expecting to let this, see how this works?
Oh,
is there a time? This is obviously the
what
policy
we're doing.
for now.
I'm not, okay, so I'm certainly not suggesting that we are going to dip our toe in. We have skin in the game, and we're going to go for it. Again, I think the long-term benefits are what we hope people will see as the prices stabilize, so it isn't about deep discounters. Retailers, brick-and-mortar retailers are going to hopefully see the benefit, right? They can't compete with online right now when a customer can get a product delivered to their door at a significant discount that a brick-and-mortar retailer could never match.
So you're just trying to close the gap a little bit.
Just kind of stabilize things. So.
Okay. So now that we've talked about that,
Right.
what is Asmodee excited about in the next 6 months or so? I mean, that's a lot of company, a lot of studios to talk about.
A lot of studios.
Highlights.
Well, on the 31st of March, or right at the end of March, first week of April, Star Wars Rebellion will hit.
Okay.
Talking about the $100 epic board game experience. Star Wars Rebellion is something that I know a few people in this room have played.
And they talk about it a lot.
I bet they do.
Yeah.
I have a tissue. I have played myself. We're going to be demoing the game here at GAMA. There's an amazing 2 to 4 player experience. It's for 2 teams, even if it's a team of 1. But asymmetric, grand strategy game, Star Wars, really narrative, really epic, lots of bits, beautiful sculpt, beautiful production values. And that's coming at the end of March,
Yep.
first week of April. At GAMA, we are going to be showing Via Nebula. Via Nebula is a Martin Wallace game. It's very fanciful art and style. It's the Nebula Valley has been destroyed in some great cataclysms, so there are ruins in spaces around the board, and everything else is covered in mist. And what players are attempting to do is rebuild the valley. And it's a race to be the first player to build 5 different buildings. There's a set of contracts out. Each contract requires a certain combination of resources in order to build, and you have a few workers to place out. It's a Euro game. It's a strategy game. You will be placing workers out onto the field to begin gathering resources. But what is interesting is that other players can take advantage of the sort of the pathways that you have built. So you're trying to to gain control of certain resources so you can build your buildings faster than those of the other players. It's a strategy game that's fairly easily, it's very accessible. So it's a good step up. It isn't like, let's say, Brass, Martin Wallen's Brass or anything, which is a whole other end. But it has some elements of that, some elements of round building and resource acquisition that will be interesting. We think it'll be interesting for players that are sort of stepping up the game, so to speak.
Which studio is this under?
Space Cowboys.
Okay.
So beautiful production, and we're going to have that prototype here at the show, and you will see more information online about that. Let's see, what else?
Which one to pick?
So we had another announcement today at the keynote, and that is that we announced a new studio. There's a new studio called Wind Rider Games. It is based in Minnesota. And there are some individuals that had been working at Fantasy Flight Games. We have peeled them off. And they actually now work in another building entirely. It's a block away. They have started a new studio. There are just 4 individuals at this point. And their focus is going to be on games that fall outside of what Fantasy Flight is known for. Over the years,
Yeah.
there have been titles where people scratch their head and say, that's not a Fantasy Flight style game.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and one of the questions that I was asked last year when the Asmodee merger was announced is people were concerned that Fantasy Flight's focus might shift.
Okay.
Are you going to start doing family style games? We said,
Right.
"Well, we have a broad spectrum, but no, we want to focus more on Fantasy Flight, on the sort of style of games that Fantasy Flight is known for. Well, one way we're going to do that is now to keep Fantasy Flight focused on its core. So very narrative experiences, that epic experience. We have a lot of IPs that are familiar, so Star Wars and The Lord of the Rings and even the Android universe. We've got sci-fi, fantasy, horror, Eldritch horror and Arkham horror. And then the lifestyle games, so X-Wing, where every few months or twice a year we've got new releases that sort of change how that game is being played. Those are Fantasy Flight style. We think that fits
Right.
the Fantasy Flight brand.
Yeah.
Wind Rider Games is going to focus on other titles, and the first that we announced is a game that has been long out of print, which is Reiner Knizia's Ra.
Ah.
And this is one of the Euro Classics line. So Fantasy Flight, a year or so ago, had 2 releases over the past year. In the Euro Classics line, we re-released Tigris and Euphrates, and we re-released Samurai.
Samurai. Yeah.
And people saw the production value is very high. I find them to be very beautiful. The components have been rethought. The gameplay is the same. These are the games that people know and love, but in a form that we think is very, very eye-catching and makes it easier to play these classic games. But people were confused why Euro Classics would fall under the FFG umbrella. And now the Euro Classic line is going to migrate to Wind Rider.
To Wind Rider.
So
Okay.
that's just something in the back end. But we will have Ra. You can look for more information online. We'll launch the website. You can see sort of the art direction and the style. But that is the Reiner's classic auction and set collection game. It's other title.
Yes. How soon do we expect Ra to?
It's going to be late in the summer, later this
Okay.
year.
Excellent. Well, that's great news for fans of that game.
Yeah.
Anton, thank you very much for
Thank you.
spending some time with me.
You got it.
And I wish you a very pleasant 2016. Thanks for watching.